Hello, ladies and gents! Welcome back to the latest episode of our epic series, featuring a machine today on the channel for the first time ever, the Tier 7 Premium British Tank Destroyer, the AT-15A. Wait a second, a 1 vs 7 in one of the slowest non-turreted tank destroyers in the game? Well, there must be an insane amount of RNG involved or absolutely crazy enemies. Well, you're not wrong on that one. While LibertyPrime1, our hero today, did definitely do a good job for the most part in maneuvering for his life in a really tight situation, the performance of the enemy team was truly legendary as well. Curious? Then check this out. Alright, so here we are in our AT-15A, this time around in a standard battle on Abbey. Now, just as I mentioned in the introduction, the spotlight and focus for this replay will be at least as much on the performance of the enemy team as on the performance of our own hero here in this Tier 7 British Premium Tank Destroyer. But as we wait for the madness to unfold, let's just quickly see what the AT-15A is basically about. Well, if you don't know this Premium Tank Destroyer, it's basically an AT-15, which is the regular Tier 8 British Tank Destroyer, using the stock gun, but keeping most of its armor, which is a really interesting combination. Now, where a lot of these armored, non-turreted tank destroyers are really lacking is of course the mobility, and as you can see, well, we can barely call it mobility in the first place. We have a top speed of 20 km per hour, which is not really impressive, is it? And that's especially if we consider that this thing has a quite appalling 10 horsepower per ton power to weight ratio and really bad terrain resistances as well, so you won't be going anywhere fast in this thing. And right here in the beginning we see the dilemma whether we should go east or west with this machine. And that's really one of the main problems that the drivers of these steel behemoths will have, because once you commit to a side, you pretty much will have to stick to it for the rest of the match. You are just not mobile enough to get back and relocate should the enemy decide to go down the other side of the map. Now we decided to cover here the east and let both of our heavy tanks go over to the west, which could be a valid decision, and as we see, the enemies who actually have a distinct advantage on heavy tanks actually split their forces, so the decision was not a bad one. Now, right here in the beginning there is something that you will probably notice as well. We are actually using here for a couple of seconds up to 60 times zoom. I did do some thorough research, and as far as I know this is still alright to do. The replay is, by the way, back from 9.16, but I wanted to let you know anyway. Don't worry though, most of the action will be really close quarters madness, so you don't have to worry about boring long-range sniping. Oh, far from that. But let's have a look at the results already. Oh my, we are down by 4 tanks, the enemies have still all of their heavy tanks, and they are about to murder our own heavies, which won't leave a lot on our side, to be honest. The middle has fallen. We are barely holding here the east, with 2 heavies, and the 2 most armored ones, the OI and the ONI, closing in on us. We will be flanked very soon by mediums and lights, and the other side has been completely wiped by those heavies as well, so it's pretty much as bad as it can get, being down 5-9 in a 4 tank disadvantage. Now, what I also wanted to mention is that you will see here LibertyPrime1 using quite a bit of APCR. However, something that you have to realize is that even though the AT-15A has preferential matchmaking, it will meet quite a lot of tanks, like that ONI, where if you wouldn't use APCR, the standard AP rounds with 171mm of penetration might just not cut it. And let me tell you, if a full health Japanese heavy tank decides to go at you at full speed, then he will just push you aside, and you really want to make sure that every single shot counts. As dirty as it is, this is pretty much the only thing we can do here to survive. Although the Oni is in pretty similar shoes as well. The armor on this thing is pretty damn good, 228mm on most of the front, and actually the weak spot on top, which is that machine gun turret or hatch on the upper right hand side, is even tougher than it's on the T-8 with about 150mm, so unless the Oni is specifically going for it, he will have a really hard time going through our armor unless he's using APCR himself. Not even sure if the Oni has APCR, probably it's an high penetration AP instead. I would have to double check. But let's get back to the game. This is probably the nightmare of every single non-threated tank destroyer. We are about to get flanked from the right. There is an enemy in front of us, an enemy behind us. So, yeah. Oh, what's going on there? T-34-100 is probably on top of the Su-100. And indeed the SU goes down, so don't know really what happened there, but we will have to find out soon enough. So that's the big one. Against whom do you turn your armors towards to? If we turn it towards the T-34-100, the Skoda will make a move, and I'm really surprised that he didn't until now. And if we do the opposite, the T-34-100 will comment, here comes the Cromwell, and, well, that's really good that we are covering our ass, which is the weakest part of the machine, with the rack of the Oni. And by the way, even the weakest part is 100mm there. So far, not much luck with the enemies, and I have to say, rightfully so. They don't really want to get in front of us, because if they do, then, as we will shortly demonstrate with the Cromwell, they will be gone from this game for good. So Cromwell is out, and I have no idea why the Skoda didn't make a move, or the T-34-85 for that matter. These guys seem to be just stunned in place, as mice looking at the snake mesmerized. Alright, the Skoda T-25 heroically decides to pull back behind cover. I can't really charge him down, so instead let's turn around and let's see what we will find on that corner. Now the two enemy heavy tanks have made their move this way, and indeed IS-2 and the AMX M445 are here as well. Luckily, we should be able to penetrate these guys even with the regular AP, if we can aim for the weak spots. And they are on low health as well, so that's good news, even though especially the IS-2 firing premium can do serious amounts of damage at us. There we go, AMX M445 penetrates us as well, but we take him down as well, and they keep reversing. There are 3 tanks in front of us, 1 behind us. Most of these enemies just decided to stay in front. Why the hell would you do that? Skoda completely refusing to go back, to take the backside, and instead just casually drives away in front of our gun, and then decides to climb up the slope, so he is being slowed down as well. How the hell are we still alive? I can't believe it. Now, it's a really good question, why the hell the T-34-100 didn't make its move, and they say in the chat that most probably he is stuck, and that's really the only reasonable explanation. We did see that he was squishing the Su-100, so he might be stuck on top of it. Our teammates let us know that we really should worry right now about the Lorraine 155-50, which is the Tier 7 French artillery, one of the fastest artillery in the game, if we don't count that little beast, the FE-304 Bertie Avenger. So hopefully we will not be surprised by him from the back, which would be pretty much devastating. With 220 health and a damaged engine, he can really easily get behind us, and oh my god, this is once again as bad as it gets. We have really horrible tank traverse, 24 degrees per second, and we have a damaged engine, and we have damaged tracks, so... oh boy, here is our doom. And we survive it! And he doesn't stick to our ass. he rolls past us. Oh my god, the amount of mistakes the enemies are making is unbelievable. Our luck was actually that the Lorraine 15550 didn't hit our weak spot. And by the way, even if he would have, this thing has a really horrible penetration to alpha damage combination. So with our thick skin, we managed to survive a direct hit in the back. How absolutely mental was that? Well, defeating the absolutely impossible, going so far 1 versus 6 with damaged tracks and a damaged engine in one of the most immobile non-turreted tank destroyers, I don't think anybody would have guessed that result. Oh, and there is the T-34-100, and indeed he is completely stuck. And if I'm not mistaken, he is pointing down towards the Su-100. So I don't think he will have the gun elevation to do anything about us, so there is nothing else left than to make our way towards him and claim our Redley Walters together with the Colobanos. Well, this is an epic replay, alright, but I have to say, probably the spotlight has to be the enemy team's performance. Oh my god, what did we just watch? I mean, can we have enemies like that in every single game, please? Now this was something alright, but let's not forget that the end result is also due to the good maneuvering of our AT-15A commander. Talking about results, have a look at this. Ace Tanker, Redley Walters, Colobanos, Cool-Headed, Steel Wall, High Caliber and of course a Top Gun. Not a bad pay for a few minutes of work. Looking at the team results, can we just say a massive thank you to both teams actually for enabling this win. And before you get overly critical with the enemy team, let's not forget the little fact that they were actually massively winning up until the end, stomping our own team into the ground, which makes this even more funny. And last but not least, we fired 41 rounds, hitting 35 of them and penetrating 29. Now fortunately quite a bit of that was APCR, so this game was a loss on a standard account, even if most of those rounds were totally justified, at least against the Oni and the super tight endgame situation. Now at the same time our armor did work like a charm this time around, negating over 2300 damage by blocking 18 of the 23 direct hits received. Most impressive. Right, this was then our epic game in the AT-15A. Massive thank you to LibertyPrime1 for sending this one in, and congratulations to a crazy but well-earned result. I hope you guys did enjoy watching it just as much as I did, and if so, thanks a lot for considering giving this a like or sharing it. Tomorrow we will continue with a special Funny Moments episode looking once again at those crazy blind shots, and then on Thursday we will ace the T-34-100 together and have a look at how you can make this rather unpopular machine actually work. Thank you very much for watching everyone, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of the next videos.